Callista's life had begun like any ordinary morning, but in an instant, everything changed. When the people she had always trusted at home turned her life into a public spectacle, she realized that true eviction notices, needless threats, and her family's performative display of superiority tried to break her, yet Kalista refused to stay silent. She claimed her confidence and the strength of her principles. Her grandfather's will, legal documents, and hidden truths gave her the chance to reclaim her life and rebuild her dreams. This is the story of her journey, a story of someone who refused to be silenced, who overcame every obstacle, and who achieved peace, freedom, and real success. A story of a person who fights for her rights and dignity and never loses. Mom had already set the plates when I came upstairs. Toast over easy eggs, and just the right amount of hot sauce. She did this back in high school before I headed out for welding practice. For a moment, I wondered if it meant something. "I'm only going for 2 days," I said, sliding into the chair across from her. "Just a maintenance contract in Brookings, but starting Monday, it was a new job." She nodded slowly, swirling her coffee. "That's good, son." It sounded more automatic than serious, her eyes glued to her phone even as I smiled. "I know it's not a big company like Mirage, but the pay's solid, full-time benefits. Still no eye contact, just a distracted hum." I focused on my eggs. "Don't make it weird," I told myself. She had been there for me when I needed it. Didn't have to now. When I got up to clear my plate, she finally looked up. She quickly kissed my cheek and hugged me sideways, as if performing for someone absent. Then she went back to her phone. The morning sun stretched long shadows as I walked to my car, my duffel bag rattling with welding gear. I stashed it in the trunk like I was starting fresh. As I drove down the driveway, I glanced back once and saw curtains move. Hours before my shift, I returned home. Work ended sooner than expected. I just wanted to lie down, my hands still carrying the familiar scent of warm steel and burnt rubber, a kind of satisfaction. But as I slowed at the driveway, something was off. Dozens of black trash bags lined the lawn, torn socks, sweaters, notebooks, even my welding gloves scattered. My duffel bag lay on its side like it had been thrown. My gaming monitor leaned near the mailbox, exposed and unprotected. Mom stood with her phone like she was filming a cooking demo. Beside her, Noel extended an arm selfie style, showcasing the scene for her followers. Before I even got out, I heard her voice. "And here he is, back from a business trip, still owing $8,000 rent. Watch closely. This is entitlement in action." Griffin wandered, uselessly smiling like a bored security guard. When he saw me, he kicked a bag, books flying. "The family freeloader is finally out," he said. I opened my mouth but didn't speak. It felt like someone had flipped a switch and drained the air. Mom spoke into the phone in a professional tone. "Kalista Rain, 29, living in my basement like a parasite for months. Not anymore." Mrs. Vellon held a dog leash tight, expressionless. Mr. Linton filmed from behind a bush. No one moved, no one spoke. I bent down, picking up a hardcore tool that had fallen, set it aside. No crying, no yelling, just packing. Noel's voice narrated every step. I closed the trunk slowly, looked back once more. They were still filming, smiling. "Grab your stuff and leave," he roared. "You're no longer our daughter. Real adults don't burden their parents." My breath caught, but I blinked, rubbed my cheek, and bent to pick up the keys. I didn't flinch. This was the moment I realized. This was a game, and in its rules, I would never lose. I slid into the driver's seat, door closed, engine started, and looked once more. Mom, with her casual performance. Noel, pretending hatred for social media clout. Griffin, trained and smiling. Dad, with a hint of doubt behind his rage. I turned and drove off. A strange calm filled me, every aggression powerless. Later that night, I reflected on my new beginning. The sunlit curtains, the constant phone buzz, they were no longer part of my story. They were lessons. My decisions now, my strength, my protection, would be my own, absolutely. Keeping the style, tone, and narrative intact. This moment was another lesson for Kalista. Despite family pressure and aggression, she now stood firmly within her own boundaries and principles. She realized that true power lies in law, principles, and self-confidence, not in someone else's emotional pressure or threats. Within a few days, Kalista's decisions began to impact the rest of her family. Noel's social media following dropped rapidly. Nearly 5,000 people unfollowed him, and some old school friends recognized him during a live stream where Kalista's facts had become clear. His sponsors also severed ties with Noel. Her father's business suffered losses, and a client canceled a project. Kalista observed it all calmly. She now knew that her rights were secure and no one could harm her. Silence had power. Unwanted messages from Noel, angry emails from Griffin, relentless calls from her father. They had all become meaningless. Mr. Dorsey had strengthened every legal step, and Kalista understood that justice and rights are rooted in patience and law. At night, her apartment was quiet and peaceful. Every book, every possession, every item was under her personal and legal protection. It reminded her that real power lies in silence, patience, and reason, not in noise and chaos. This was a milestone for Kalista. Despite her family's small manipulations and financial deceit, she had proven that fighting for rights and justice is possible, and most importantly, she had learned that self-protection always begins within. A few days later, the family's lawyer sent Mr. Dorsey a formal offer. The offer proposed giving Kalista full ownership of the lake cabin, provided she waived claims to the remaining rent and income from the commercial building. Mr. Dorsey didn't hesitate for a moment and replied, "We reject this and maintain our original demands." Kalista knew her family was trying to weaken her, but she refused to compromise her principles at any cost. The cabin's value was only a third of the total due rent, but Kalista wanted acknowledgement and financial transparency. The next day, she met with Mr. Dorsey and made her demands clear. Formal payment plan for overdue rent. Third-party oversight for future income. Written acknowledgement of financial misconduct signed by all family members. She insisted, "Everything must be written and signed." Mr. Dorsey nodded once and said, "It will be done." During the settlement, the family's weaknesses became evident. Noel's followers continued to decline, sponsorships ended, and her father's business and loan applications suffered. Finally, the family accepted all the terms: monthly payments, third-party oversight, and written acknowledgement of financial misconduct. Kalista looked at the signed documents and added a line herself. "Truth is not deception. It only emerges when the performance ends." This final step marked the beginning of full freedom and autonomy for Kalista. Peace, legal protection, and personal independence were now hers. That night, she organized her belongings and realized that her life was truly under her control. Kalista's first night in the apartment brought a sense of calm and tranquility. The lights were dim, the air gently moving, and everything in its place. She felt that this silence was the first comfort and freedom she had experienced in years. Looking over her possessions, she exhaled deeply. Every book, every piece of clothing, every item was now her personal property. No pressure, no surveillance, no threats. This was the result of her hard work, patience, and legal knowledge. Her phone rang constantly, but Kalista silenced it and set it aside. Noel, Griffin, and her parents' attempts were now powerless. Mr. Dorsey had fortified every legal step, and no one could interfere with her rights or freedom. At night, she connected her old external drive. Kalista played her grandfather's final video. "Hello, kiddo. Remember, you'll be fine. Some people only value you when they can use you, and when you stop being useful, they call it betrayal. Let them say it. Just be yourself." Kalista saved the video, backed up the drive, and put it away. Every word, every lesson, every piece of advice guided her. That night, in her new apartment, Kalista felt true peace for the first time. No pressure, no noise, no threats. Just her, the owner of her life, guardian of her principles, and architect of her destiny. This moment marked a new beginning for Kalista. She had learned that real power lies in silence, patience, and principles, and no person or circumstance could take away her freedom or self-confidence. Over the following days, legal actions began to show real results. Kalista's lawyer, Mr. Dorsey, sent the family a strict notice confirming overdue rent and third-party oversight of future income. It was a shock for the family. Noel and Griffin could no longer act aggressively. Noel's followers continued to drop, sponsorships ended, and Griffin's business losses forced them to comply fully with the legal documents. Kalista observed everything calmly. Her aim was not revenge, but the protection of justice and rights. She realized that true power doesn't come from noise or revenge. It comes from law, patience, and self-confidence. Now, everything was solidified in writing. All family members signed formal acknowledgement of overdue rent, a monthly payment plan, and third-party oversight of commercial income. This legal process felt like the ultimate revenge for Kalista. She knew that now no one or nothing could harm her rights. All of this was the result of her effort, patience, and wisdom. Her apartment was quiet and peaceful. Everything was in its place, every possession safe, every right legally secured. Kalista felt fully free. That night, she wrote in her journal, "Protection of rights and justice is more effective than revenge." It marked the beginning of her new chapter. Within weeks, Kalista's decisions and legal actions began to have visible effects on her family. Noel's social media following continuously dropped, sponsorships ended, and people began to recognize his fake image and false confidence. Griffin's business suffered too. Clients stopped projects, loan applications were rejected, and credibility was lost. Her parents' efforts were now ineffective, and their small manipulations failed. Kalista watched all this silently. There was no joy or revenge, just acknowledgement and satisfaction. She knew her rights were legally protected, and no one could take them away. Peace and freedom filled the apartment. Every book, every item, every document was now her personal property. No pressure, no surveillance, no threats. This moment was a symbol of full autonomy for Kalista. She understood that true power lies in silence, patience, and principles, not in noise and revenge. Her family's attempts were now powerless against her freedom. At night, she wrote in her journal, "I am now the owner of my life, and no threat or aggression can stop me. This is the true meaning of peace and justice." This moment marked a new beginning for Kalista. Every step, every decision, every action reflected her independence and strength. Kalista focused on her professional projects in her new apartment. New welding projects, international opportunities, and new clients became challenges she embraced with dedication. Every task and success was now a symbol of her autonomy. In her small apartment room, her books, desk, and belongings testified to her hard work. Kalista realized she now had the time and resources to turn her dreams into reality. She applied her skills and creativity to every project. Her client relationships were professional and strong, and each success gave her more confidence. At night, she wrote in her journal, "Every success is mine. Every project is proof of my effort. After peace and freedom, I feel strong and empowered at every step." This moment marked a new beginning in Kalista's life. Every day, every project, and every achievement became a part of her personal and professional growth. She knew no person or circumstance could diminish her work or success. Kalista prioritized peace and personal freedom in her life. She organized her daily routines and work projects according to her schedule. Everything in the apartment was in its place, every item safe, every right legally hers. At night, she planned future projects in her journal. New opportunities, financial stability, and personal growth were her priorities. Now, no family interference or unnecessary noise could affect her life. Kalista realized that true freedom and peace come when one stands by their principles and rights. She was now financially, emotionally, and mentally free. She reopened her old external drive and watched her grandfather's video, which reminded her that some people only value you when they can benefit. Kalista knew that her rights, hard work, and independence were her most valuable assets. Amid the apartment's silence and peace, she realized this was the result of her hard work, patience, and principles. She planned her future with full autonomy. This moment symbolized personal peace and stability for Kalista. She knew that now no one or nothing could harm her rights or freedom. A few days later, Kalista realized life had truly become peaceful. Everything in her apartment was in place, every possession safe, every legal right hers. No family threat or noise could interfere with her life. Mr. Dorsey had completed all legal procedures. Overdue rent, third-party monitoring of future income, and written acknowledgement of financial misconduct all were secure and signed. Kalista now had not just legal protection, but true independence. At night, she wrote in her journal, "Truth is not deception. Live life with peace, justice, and principles. It's all for your own good." College memories, her grandfather's video, and self-confidence taught her that true power lies in silence, patience, and principles. No noise or revenge could weaken her. Now she could fully focus on new projects and financial independence. Every step carried self-confidence, every decision wisdom, and every achievement peace. Kalista stood by her apartment window and took a deep breath. The night was quiet, the air soft, the city lights dim. This moment marked her full freedom and success. Years of tension, threats, and deceit were now in the past. Kalista knew that standing up for her protection, principles, and rights was true power. Her life was now under her control, and nothing could shake her. This final moment symbolized complete success and freedom. Every possession, every decision, every moment reflected her autonomy, power, and peace. Kalista began her new day with a deep breath. Her life had no threats, no noise, no unnecessary interference. Every corner of her apartment reflected peace and independence. Every decision was the result of her effort and wisdom. That day, she started planning new future projects, relationships with new clients, new welding and design projects, and personal growth opportunities opened bright paths. Every decision reflected her skill and confidence. At night, she wrote in her journal, "Every new day brings new dreams, new opportunities, and full freedom. I am the owner of my life, and no person or situation can stop me." She watched her grandfather's video again and kept his words of advice close to heart. Kalista understood that true power always lies in principles, rights, and hard work. She realized she could achieve success without relying on anyone's opinion or benefit. Standing by the window, feeling the city lights and gentle breeze, she knew this moment symbolized new paths, personal growth, and real freedom. Kalista now had full power to fulfill her dreams. Every step, every decision, and every achievement reflected her hard work, principles, and self-confidence. This new chapter marked a bright future, strong will, and true success. Each day brought new opportunities and dreams. बिल्कुल, मैं आपके फराहम करदा पार्ट को अमरीकी अंग्रेजी में तर्जमा करके दे देता हूँ. Kalista had begun making small but significant changes to her daily routine. Every morning, she would go to her workshop to work on new designs, showcasing her skill and creativity in every order while strengthening her relationships with each client. One day, during a meeting with a new client, Kalista realized that relationships were just as important as hard work and expertise. This new connection brought not only business opportunities, but also personal growth and newfound confidence. At night, standing on the rooftop of her apartment, Kalista looked at the city lights and felt that each light symbolized a new possibility. The scent in the air, the silence, and the colors of the night reminded her of her new dreams for the future. She told herself, "Everything I've achieved is the result of my hard work and determination." Every new relationship, every new success, every moment is making me stronger and freer. Kalista was not only successful in her business, but also began living each moment with joy, peace, and confidence. Each day brought new colors, new dreams, and new possibilities. This chapter marked a fresh start for Kalista, a symbol of new relationships and being fully in charge of her life. Every moment, every day, and every decision was guiding her toward a brighter future. Along with her business success, Kalista also started embracing new challenges in her life. Every day was a new lesson, every meeting a new opportunity, and every decision opened a new path for her. One morning, while working on a new design in her workshop, an old friend visited her. With a smile, the friend said, "Kalista, the dreams you once had have come true, but this is only the beginning. Even bigger opportunities are ahead." Kalista nodded silently, feeling deep within that success was not just a destination, but the result of consistent effort, perseverance, and courage. She promised herself that she would face every new challenge, no matter how difficult the circumstances. That evening, standing by her apartment window and looking at the city lights, Kalista realized that her life was no longer just a story of happiness and success. It had become a life of self-confidence, principles, and hard work. In that moment, she began planning for her future, new projects, new relationships, and new dreams. Every decision and every step was leading her toward her true purpose. This chapter was a reminder for Kalista that true strength is always hidden in courage, hard work, and principles. Every day brought a new opportunity, every moment a new lesson, and every challenge a new victory. One day, while Kalista was busy in her workshop, the phone rang. The caller was a unique client, a person whose company was involved in some of the city's largest projects. He offered Kalista a unique and challenging project. Kalista answered the phone with surprise and excitement. This project was not only a major opportunity for her business, but also a chance to bring a new dimension to her creative skills. Her heart raced as she immediately began thinking about the project. Meanwhile, some of Kalista's old friends, who had been part of her journey, came by. They said, "This opportunity brings a new challenge and new success for you. We're sure you'll succeed." Kalista told herself. I am ready. Every new challenge makes me stronger. Every difficult moment shows me my true strength. That night, standing by her apartment window, looking at the city lights, Kalista realized that unexpected twists in life always bring new possibilities. Every moment, every decision, and every step was leading her toward her true purpose. This chapter was a reminder for Kalista that success and growth are always tied to courage, hard work, and self-confidence. New challenges, new opportunities, and new dreams all were on her path, and she was ready to face them all. Kalista began working on the new project. It was not only large-scale, but also a significant test of her design and creative abilities. Each day brought new ideas, new problems, and new technical challenges. One day during the project, a major problem arose. There was a delay in material delivery, and the client's expectations had increased. Kalista held a meeting with her team and said, "We won't be afraid of challenges. Every problem comes with a solution. We just need to think together and proceed carefully with every step." Seeing her leadership and courage, each team member doubled their efforts. Kalista herself worked late into the night, creating new designs and finding alternative materials. When the client came to see the project's progress, he was amazed. He said, "Kalista, the skill, courage, and creative thinking you've shown are truly commendable. This project is the best reflection of your hard work and passion." Kalista smiled quietly and said, "Every challenge is a new opportunity, and I embrace every opportunity with my strength and courage." That night, as she stood by her apartment window, amid the city lights and the whispering wind, she realized that every difficult moment, every challenge, and every success was leading her toward her true purpose. This chapter taught Kalista that even in unexpected challenges, success is possible through strength, patience, and hard work. Kalista attended a major conference in the city for her project. Various companies and experts showcased their new ideas and designs. Kalista's goal was not only to connect with new clients, but also to explore new opportunities for her project. During the conference, one person noticed Kalista's creative presentation. His name was Ryan, a young and talented investor whose eyes reflected enthusiasm and analytical skill. Ryan smiled and said, "Kalista, your design is not only creative, but also uniquely thoughtful. I'd like us to collaborate on some new opportunities." Kalista smiled and replied, "Thank you, Ryan. I'm always ready for new ideas and challenges." This meeting marked the beginning of a new relationship, professional collaboration, new projects, and potential friendship. Kalista realized that every step, every decision, and every encounter was bringing her closer to her dreams. Returning to her apartment that night, Kalista wrote in her journal,